Imagine a dog with a gaze so piercing it can halt a stampede of 300 sheep with a single unblinking stare. A creature with an internal engine powered by a heart physically larger than any other breed of its size, and a mind so sharp it can learn the name of a new object in the time it takes you to brew a cup of coffee. This is the Border Collie, the undisputed king of canine intellect, and the most useful tool a shepherd has ever possessed. To understand this dog, we must look past the friendly face and see the centuries of evolution, the rugged landscapes of the British Isles, and the legendary bloodlines that created the pinnacle of working animals. This is not simply a story about a popular pet. This is the chronicle of a breed that has shaped agriculture, redefined animal intelligence research, and proven that the bond between human and dog can be elevated to something approaching true partnership. The ancient origins. From the British Isles to the borderlands, the story of the Border Collie reaches back into the mists of antiquity, to a time between the 5th and 1st centuries BC, when the first landrace collies began to emerge across the British Isles. These early dogs were not the refined standardized animals we know today, but rather functional, varied herding dogs that served the farming communities scattered across Scotland, England, Wales, and Ireland. The etymology of their name reveals their essential character. In Gaelic, the word collie translates to useful, a simple yet profound descriptor that captures the breed's entire purpose. These were not ornamental companions or status symbols. They were working partners whose value was measured entirely by their ability to move livestock efficiently and reliably. The second part of their name, border, anchors them geographically to the specific region between Scotland and England, the borderlands where, from the 17th century onward, shepherds refined and perfected the breed through selective breeding focused purely on working ability rather than appearance. Throughout the centuries, various types of collies existed across the British Isles, each adapted to the specific terrain and farming practices of their region. Some were larger and more robust for handling cattle, others were smaller and more agile for sheep, and still others specialized in different herding styles. However, the modern Border Collie, as we recognize it today with its distinctive working style and mental acuity, can be traced to a single, legendary foundation sire, who forever changed the breed and shepherding itself. Old Hemp, the foundation of every Border Collie in 1893, a tricolored male puppy was born in Northumberland, England, who would become known as Old Hemp, and his impact on the Border Collie breed cannot be overstated. Every single purebred Border Collie alive today can trace its ancestry directly back to this one remarkable dog. Old Hemp was the product of deliberate breeding by Adam Telfer, who mated a high-drive, high-instinct sire with a more biddable, friendly dam, hoping to create offspring that balanced intense working ability with trainability and temperament. The result exceeded all expectations. Old Hemp possessed a herding style that was revolutionary for its time. He moved sheep with quiet authority, using intense eye contact and positioning, rather than the aggressive barking, nipping, and rushing that characterized other working dogs of the era. Sheep responded to him with calm obedience rather than panic, making him extraordinarily effective at managing large flocks without the risk of animals being trampled or suffocated in the chaos of a stampede. Old Hemp's working career was legendary. He competed in sheepdog trials and worked on farms throughout the region, consistently demonstrating a level of control and finesse that other handlers could only dream of achieving with their dogs. His reputation spread, and shepherds from across the country sought to breed their females to him. By the time of his death in 1901 at the age of 8, Old Hemp had sired over 200 puppies, and his genetic legacy became the cornerstone of the modern Border Collie. His descendants carved pastoral agriculture. The smartest dog in the world, documented genius. The Border Collie's reputation for intelligence is not merely anecdotal or the result of owner bias. It is scientifically documented and universally acknowledged by researchers who study canine cognition. In 1994, psychologist Stanley Coren published his seminal work, The Intelligence of Dogs, in which he ranked 1938 dog breeds according to their working intelligence and obedience. The Border Collie was ranked number 1, occupying the top position in the category he termed brightest dogs. According to Coren's research, dogs in this highest tier demonstrate the ability to learn a new command in fewer than 5 repetitions and obey the first command given to them at least 95% of the time. To put this in perspective, breeds in the lowest intelligence category might require 80 to 100 repetitions to learn a new command and will only obey about 25% of the time, even after extended physical masterpieces built for endurance and efficiency. While the Border Collie's mental prowess rightfully receives the most attention, Their physical attributes are equally remarkable and specifically engineered for the demands of herding work. Perhaps the most extraordinary physical characteristic is their cardiovascular system. Border Collies possess hearts that are proportionally larger than those of any other breed of comparable size. This enlarged heart provides them with exceptional stamina and endurance, allowing them to work continuously for hours across rugged terrain without fatigue. A working Border Collie on a large farm might cover 30 to 50 miles in a single day, running, crouching, sprinting, and maintaining intense focus throughout. And their cardiovascular capacity makes this grueling schedule not just possible but sustainable day after day. Their coats are another marvel of functional design. Border Collies come in two coat varieties, smooth and rough, but both possess what is often described as a self-cleaning quality. Their fur contains natural oils that repel dirt and moisture, meaning that mud and debris tend to fall away once they dry rather than matting into the coat. This characteristic evolved because working Border Collies spend their days in fields, pastures, and wet conditions where frequent bathing would be impractical. A Border Collie that has rolled in mud will often emerge looking clean and presentable within a few hours without any intervention from their owner, a trait that makes them relatively low maintenance despite their active lifestyle. Eye color in Border Collies displays fascinating variation, including a phenomenon known as heterochromia, where an individual dog may have two different colored eyes, or even sectoral heterochromia, where a single eye contains multiple colors. While the most common eye color is brown, Border Collies can have blue eyes, green eyes, amber eyes, or any combination thereof. Contrary to popular myth, blue eyes in Border Collies are not associated with deafness or health problems as they are in some other breeds. They are simply a natural genetic variation. However, it is worth noting that the most highly prized working Border Collies, particularly those descended from pure working lines, typically have dark brown eyes, as handlers have traditionally selected for this trait alongside working ability. The eye and the bubble, herding as an art form, the defining characteristic of the Border Collie as a working dog is what shepherds call the eye, an intense, unblinking stare that serves as the primary tool through which the dog controls livestock. When a Border Collie engages the eye, they drop into a low, crouched position reminiscent of a stalking cat, their body coiled with potential energy, their gaze locked onto the target animal with laser. Like focus, this posture and stare create what is known as predatory pressure, a psychological effect that causes the sheep to perceive the dog as a threat and respond by moving away. However, unlike a true predator, the Border Collie carefully calibrates this pressure, never escalating to aggression or attack, instead using their positioning and intensity to guide the flock exactly where the shepherd wants them to go. Central to understanding Border Collie herding technique is the concept of the bubble, an invisible zone of personal space surrounding each animal. Every creature, including humans, has a bubble, a distance at which they feel comfortable with others nearby. When that bubble is penetrated, the natural instinct is to move away to re-establish comfortable distance. The Border Collie instinctively understands this concept and uses it with surgical precision. By positioning themselves at exactly the right distance and angle, they can apply just enough pressure to move a single sheep or an entire flock without causing panic. Too much pressure, and the animals will bolt in terror. Too little, and they will ignore the dog entirely. The Border Collie walks this knife edge constantly, reading the reactions of the livestock and adjusting their approach in real time based on feedback. This is why Border Collies can manage flocks of 300 or more sheep without chaos. Their method is quiet persuasion, rather than violent coercion. This stands in stark contrast to what are called upright herding breeds, such as Corgis, Australian cattle dogs, or Australian shepherds, which work in a more physical vocal manner, often using barking, nipping at heels, or aggressive rushing to move livestock. These styles are effective for different types of work, particularly with stubborn or unresponsive animals like cattle, but for large flocks of sheep in open country, the Border Collie's quiet, intense method is unparalleled. The ability to move animals calmly is not just a matter of aesthetics, it is a critical safety concern. A panicked flock will stampede, and in the crush of bodies, sheep can be suffocated, trampled, or injured. The Border Collie prevents this through precise control and emotional intelligence. The language of herding, commands and whistles. Training a Border Collie for herding work involves teaching them a complex vocabulary of directional commands that allow the handler to guide the dog's movements from a distance. These commands are standardized across the herding world, and are essential for any dog working in competitive sheepdog trials or on a working farm. The foundational directional commands are away to me, often shortened to simply way, which instructs the dog to circle the flock in a counterclockwise direction, and come by, which signals a clockwise movement. These commands allow the handler to position the dog on either side of the flock, setting up the correct approach angle for moving the animals in the desired direction. Additional essential commands include walk up, which tells the dog to move forward, and apply pressure directly toward the livestock, increasing the urgency of the movement. Lie down, which is a command for the dog to stop all movement immediately and drop into a stationary position, often used to prevent the dog from applying too much pressure or to allow the livestock to settle, and that'll do. The universal signal that the work is finished, and the dog should disengage from the livestock and return to the handler. Mastery of these commands is just the beginning. Advanced working dogs learn dozens of additional commands for specific situations, such as get back to increase distance from the livestock, steady to slow down their approach, or look back to search for animals that have separated from the main flock. Because herding work often occurs over large distances and in conditions where verbal commands would be difficult to hear, such as wind, rain, or across expansive fields, Border Collies are typically trained to respond to whistles as well as or instead of verbal commands. Shepherds use specialized whistles, either mouth whistles or small handheld whistles, to communicate with their dogs at distances up to a mile away. Each command has a corresponding whistle pattern, and experienced dogs will respond to these whistles with the same precision they would to a spoken word. This whistle training is essential for working Border Collies, and is a standard component of sheepdog trial competitions, where the ability to control a dog from hundreds of yards away is the difference between success and failure. Finding courage in puppies. The identification and development of a working Border Collie begins remarkably early in the dog's life. Experienced handlers will introduce puppies to livestock as young as 4 to 5 weeks old, well before the age at which most pet owners would consider formal training to begin. The purpose of these early exposures is not to teach specific skills, but rather to assess the puppy's innate instinct and courage. A puppy with strong herding instinct will show immediate interest in the movement of the livestock, dropping into an instinctive stalk or attempting to chase. More importantly, handlers look for courage, the willingness of the puppy to approach animals that are much larger than themselves without fear or hesitation. These early tests might involve anything from allowing puppies to interact with chickens or roosters, whose rapid movements trigger the chase instinct, to introducing them to gentle lambs or sheep in a controlled pen. A puppy that shows the right combination of interest, focus, and bravery is identified as having working potential and will continue in formal training. Conversely, puppies that show fear, complete disinterest, or excessive aggression may be placed as pets rather than working dogs, as these traits are difficult to overcome and may indicate that the puppy will not develop into a reliable working partner. This early identification process is crucial because training a Border Collie for serious herding work is an investment of years, and handlers want to focus their efforts on dogs with the greatest natural ability, domestic life, sensitivity, and the stress bucket. When a Border Collie transitions from working farm to family home, their extraordinary sensitivity, which makes them exceptional at their job, can become a challenge in a domestic environment. Border Collies are hyper-aware of their surroundings, constantly monitoring for changes, movements, sounds, and visual cues. This heightened awareness means they can become stressed by stimuli that most dogs would barely notice. The beep of a microwave, the clatter of dishes, the sound of typing on a keyboard, or the sudden start of a vacuum cleaner can all register as significant events that demand the dog's attention and trigger a stress response. This is the same sensitivity that allows them to notice a single sheep separating from a flock at 200 yards. But in a busy household, it means they are constantly processing information and can become overwhelmed. Behaviorists often describe this phenomenon using the stress bucket theory. Imagine that every dog has an invisible bucket, and throughout the day, stressful experiences pour water into that bucket. For most dogs, the bucket is quite large and it takes significant stresses to fill it. For Border Collies, however, the bucket is smaller, and seemingly minor events add drops or even cupfuls of water. When the bucket overflows, the dog exhibits stress behaviors such as pacing, panting, inability to settle, destructive behavior, or even aggression. Managing a Border Collie in a home environment requires owners to be mindful of preventing the bucket from filling by providing adequate exercise, mental stimulation, and calm, predictable routines. It also means recognizing when the bucket is getting full and giving the dog opportunities to decompress through rest, quiet time, or engaging in calming activities. Border Collies are also renowned as escape artists, capable of overcoming barriers that would contain almost any other breed. Their combination of intelligence, athletic ability, and determination makes them extraordinarily difficult to confine if they have decided they want to be somewhere else. Handlers recommend fencing of at least 8 feet in height for Border Collies, as they are capable of jumping surprising heights, particularly if they have a running start. However, height is not the only concern. Border Collies are also persistent diggers and can tunnel under fences, or they may simply observe the mechanism of a gate latch and learn to open it themselves. Stories abound of Border Collies who have figured out how to unlatch gates, open sliding doors, or even turn doorknobs. This escape artistry is not malicious, but rather a combination of boredom, curiosity, and the drive to patrol or find something interesting to do. Proper containment, combined with adequate exercise and mental stimulation, is essential to prevent your Border Collie from embarking on unauthorized adventures. Despite these challenges, Border Collies in domestic settings form incredibly deep bonds with their families. They are emphatically loyal, demonstrating an almost uncanny ability to read and respond to human emotions. A Border Collie will know when you are sad, anxious, or upset, often before you fully recognize these feelings yourself, and will respond with quiet companionship and comfort. They return the love and care they receive tenfold, making them extraordinarily devoted companions. However, they are typically reserved with strangers not out of aggression but simply because they are selective in their attachments. A Border Collie is not a dog that will greet every visitor with exuberant enthusiasm. Instead, they will observe, assess, and gradually decide whether to accept the newcomer into their social circle. Feeding and care, working lines versus show lines. The proper care of a Border Collie extends beyond exercise and training to include nutrition, health management, and understanding the significant differences within the breed itself. Many experienced handlers, particularly those working with high-level performance dogs, recommend feeding Border Collies one large meal in the afternoon rather than splitting their daily food into 2 meals. This feeding schedule aligns with the digestive patterns of their wild ancestors, who were successful hunters only intermittently and might go days between large meals. A slow, efficient digestive system that processes food gradually allows a working dog to maintain energy levels throughout the day without the lethargy that can follow immediately after eating. This approach is not universal, and many pet Border Collies do perfectly well on a twice-daily feeding schedule, but it illustrates the level of detail and consideration that goes into optimizing the care of these dogs. Perhaps the most significant division within the Border Collie breed is the distinction between working lines and show lines, also known as AKC lines. Working lines are bred strictly for ability, temperament, and instinct. Appearance is irrelevant. What matters is whether the dog can move sheep effectively, has the right temperament for training, and possesses the stamina to work all day. These dogs are typically registered with organizations like the American Border Collie Association or the International Sheepdog Society, which maintain registries based on working ability rather than conforming to a breed standard. In contrast, show lines are bred to conform to the American Kennel Club breed standard, which specifies precise measurements for height, weight, coat quality, head shape, and other physical attributes. Dogs in show lines are selected based on their appearance and their ability to win in conformation competitions. The controversy between these two factions is ongoing and often heated. Working line advocates argue that show breeding has diluted the breed's intelligence, working ability, and athleticism, creating dogs that look like Border Collies but lack the instincts and drive that define the breed. They point to show line dogs that have little interest in herding, lower energy levels, and reduced problem-solving abilities as evidence that appearance-based selection is harmful. Show line advocates counter that they are preserving a healthy, stable, standardized breed, and that not every Border Collie needs to be a working dog. Both perspectives have merit, but prospective owners must understand this distinction and select a breeder whose priorities align with their own goals. If you want a dog for herding, agility, or other high-level work, a working line dog is essential. If you want a pet with a more moderate energy level and predictable appearance, a show line dog may be more appropriate. Health, longevity, and common concerns. Border Collies are generally a healthy, robust breed with an average lifespan of 12 to 15 years, which is quite good for a medium-sized dog. However, like all purebred dogs, They are susceptible to certain genetic health conditions that prospective owners should be aware of. Hip dysplasia, a malformation of the hip joint that can lead to arthritis and mobility problems, occurs in Border Collies with moderate frequency. Responsible breeders screen their breeding stock using X-rays evaluated by the Orthopedic Foundation for Animals, and only breed dogs with healthy hips to reduce the incidence of this condition. Epilepsy, a neurological disorder causing seizures, is another concern in the breed. Border Collies can develop idiopathic epilepsy, meaning seizures with no identifiable cause, typically appearing between 1 and 5 years of age. While epilepsy can often be managed with medication, it is a serious condition that requires lifelong treatment and monitoring. Collie eye anomaly, commonly abbreviated as CEA, is a genetic condition affecting the development of the eye. It ranges in severity from mild, causing no symptoms or vision problems, to severe, resulting in retinal detachment and blindness. Genetic testing is available for CA, and responsible breeders test their dogs and avoid breeding two carriers together, significantly reducing the incidence of severe cases. An interesting and controversial aspect of Border Collie care in working contexts is the question of spaying and neutering. Many working shepherds and handlers choose not to neuter their male dogs or spay their females early in life, believing that the hormones present during development are important for the dog's working drive, focus, and physical maturation. There is some scientific evidence to support the idea that early neutering can affect behavior and structure, and many working line breeders recommend waiting until the dog is at least 2 years old before making this decision. However, for pet homes, early spaying and neutering is strongly recommended to prevent unwanted litters, reduce certain health risks, and eliminate behaviors associated with reproductive hormones. This is a decision that should be made in consultation with a veterinarian who understands the breed and the owner's specific circumstances. Popular Border Collie mixes, combining the best traits while purebred Border Collies are exceptional dogs. Many people seek to combine the breed's intelligence and working ability with the characteristics of other breeds, resulting in a variety of popular Border Collie mixes. The Bordoodle, a cross between a Border Collie and a Poodle, is one of the most sought-after mixes. This combination aims to create a dog with the Border Collie's intelligence and trainability combined with the Poodle's low-shedding, hypoallergenic coat and friendly, outgoing personality. Bordoodles are highly trainable, making them excellent choices for families who want a smart, active dog that is also suitable for people with allergies. They tend to be slightly less intense than purebred Border Collies, while retaining much of the breed's problem-solving ability and eagerness to learn. The Borador, a mix of Border Collie and Labrador Retriever, creates a gentle, sociable dog that is often recommended for first-time dog owners who are drawn to the Border Collie's intelligence but concerned about the breed's intensity. Labradors are known for their easygoing temperament, love of people and moderate energy levels, and when combined with the Border Collie's smarts and focus, the result is often a dog that is trainable, friendly, and more forgiving of owner mistakes than a purebred Border Collie might be. Boradors tend to be excellent family dogs, good with children, and adaptable to a variety of living situations. The Border Aussie, a cross between a Border Collie and an Australian Shepherd, is a powerhouse combination of two premier herding breeds. This mix is not for the faint of heart. These dogs have extraordinary energy, drive, and intelligence, requiring multiple hours of exercise and mental stimulation daily. They are often used for high-level dog sports such as agility, flyball, and competitive herding trials, where their combination of speed, focus, and trainability makes them formidable competitors. A Border Aussie is a dog for someone who leads an extremely active lifestyle and is looking for a canine partner for outdoor adventures, sports, and constant engagement. Other popular Border Collie mixes include the Golden Border, a cross with a Golden Retriever that creates a friendly, intelligent, and beautiful dog with a softer temperament than a purebred Border Collie, the Border Husky, which combines the Border Collie's intelligence with the Siberian Husky's independent spirit and striking appearance, though this mix can be challenging due to the Husky's notorious stubbornness, and the Borgie, a mix with a Corgi that results in a smaller dog with intense herding drive and an adorable appearance. Each of these mixes offers a different combination of traits, allowing prospective owners to find a dog that incorporates the Border Collie's legendary qualities, while tempering or enhancing specific characteristics to fit their lifestyle and preferences. Border Collies beyond the farm, versatility in action. While the Border Collie was developed for herding, their intelligence, athleticism, and trainability have made them successful in virtually every canine discipline imaginable. In the world of dog sports, Border Collies dominate agility competitions, where their speed, precision, and ability to learn complex sequences of obstacles make them nearly unbeatable at the highest levels. They excel in flyball, a relay race where dogs jump hurdles, trigger a box that launches a tennis ball, catch the ball, and race back to their handler. Border Collies hold numerous world records in flyball for their lightning, fast times, and flawless execution. In search and rescue work, Border Collies have proven themselves invaluable. Their stamina allows them to work for hours in challenging terrain, their intelligence enables them to problem-solve when searching for lost persons, and their focus keeps them on task even in distracting or stressful environments. Border Collies have been deployed in disaster scenarios, wilderness searches, and avalanche rescue, where their abilities have saved lives. The breed has also found success in therapeutic roles. While Border Collies are not typically the first breed that comes to mind for therapy work due to their high energy, those individuals with the right temperament make exceptional therapy dogs. Their ability to read human emotions, their gentle nature with people they trust, and their responsiveness to training allow them to provide comfort and support in hospitals, schools, and care facilities. Additionally, Border Collies are increasingly used as service dogs for individuals with disabilities, where their intelligence and trainability allow them to perform complex tasks such as retrieving dropped items, opening doors, alerting to medical conditions, and providing mobility support. The partnership. Choosing to live with a Border Collie, bringing a Border Collie into your life is not a decision to be made lightly. This is not a breed that will be content to lounge on the couch and accompany you on leisurely weekend strolls. A Border Collie will challenge you, push you, and require you to be the best version of yourself as a trainer, leader, and companion. They will expose every inconsistency in your handling, every moment of unclear communication, and every lapse in providing adequate exercise or stimulation. But for those who are willing to meet these demands, the rewards are immeasurable. A Border Collie will be your partner in the truest sense of the word, a dog that works with you rather than simply for you. They will anticipate your needs, understand your emotions, and commit themselves entirely to your shared goals. Whether you are working sheep on a hillside, navigating an agility course, hiking a mountain trail, or simply enjoying each other's company, a Border Collie will bring a level of focus, intelligence, and devotion that is truly unmatched in the canine world. They will make you laugh with their antics, amaze you with their problem-solving abilities, and humble you with their loyalty. Conclusion: the legacy continues. The Border Collie stands as a testament to what selective breeding, when done thoughtfully and with purpose, can achieve. From the ancient collies of the British Isles to the legendary Old Hemp, from the working farms of the borderlands to the competitive arenas of modern dog sports, this breed has consistently proven itself to be exceptional. They are ambassadors of canine potential, demonstrating that dogs are not merely pets or tools but intelligent beings capable of genuine partnership with humans. Stanley Coren's research documented what shepherds had known for centuries, that the Border Collie possesses cognitive abilities that approach those of young human children. Chaser proved that these dogs can master language comprehension that rivals our own early development. Working handlers demonstrate daily that a properly trained Border Collie can make decisions, solve problems, and execute complex tasks with minimal supervision, functioning as a true collaborator rather than a subordinate. As we look to the future, the Border Collie's legacy continues to evolve. New generations of handlers and trainers are discovering innovative ways to engage these remarkable minds, from scent detection to conservation work protecting endangered species. The breed's intelligence and versatility ensure that they will continue to find new roles and challenges, always adapting, always excelling, always proving that the potential of the human-canine bond is limited only by our imagination and dedication. If you have been fortunate enough to share your life with a Border Collie, you understand the profound privilege and responsibility that comes with caring for one of nature's most remarkable creations. If you are considering bringing a Border Collie into your home, approach the decision with honesty about your lifestyle, your experience, and your commitment. These dogs deserve owners who will appreciate their gifts and provide them with the purposeful life they crave. And if you simply admire the breed from a distance, know that every time you see a Border Collie working sheep, competing in agility, or serving as a working partner to their human, you are witnessing centuries of evolution, dedication, and the enduring bond between humans and dogs at its finest. Thank you for joining this comprehensive exploration of the Border Collie, the world's smartest dog and a living testament to the extraordinary capabilities that emerge when intelligence, instinct, and purpose combine. Whether you are a handler, an owner, or simply an admirer, the Border Collie stands as an inspiration and a reminder that the relationship between humans and dogs can be elevated to something truly exceptional. Stay curious, stay dedicated, and continue to celebrate these magnificent animals who have given us so much.